In today's video, I'm going to be walking you through how to do this very simple, clean, and modern half-up bridesmaid look that is. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through how to do this very simple and clean, modern half updo that's perfect for a bridesmaid, a bridal shower, or even a rehearsal dinner for the bride. If you watched in the last one, we did this vintage wave kind of look. So we're going to take this style of curl pattern, this vertical curl, and we're going to turn this into a sleek, modern half up look. The hair has already been curled and it's already got some product in it. So make sure that you watch the video that came out before this one about how to do a quick wave or a 45-minute vintage wave for a bridesmaid to see how we got to this point. But since we're not going to be keeping the hair in this, I'm going to start by combing all of this out. And you can see by layering all the products in that I did in the other videos, even though I'm now going in and I'm running my hands through it and I'm really breaking all of this up and combing it all out, because I've layered those products in really nicely, I'm still getting that curl that's still lasting really nicely. Basically, for this half up look, what you're going to do is you're just going to curl the whole head in vertical style curls with a long barreled curling iron. And all of them are going to go in one direction so that they all fall together in one wave pattern. Now the front was sectioned off a little bit differently than the back. So you can see how we're kind of getting a little bit of these flyaways here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little bit of Moroccan oil. This is the hydrating styling cream, just a tiny little bit. Emulsify it and warm it up on my hands and start to kind of run it over the top. And that's going to help to hydrate the hair and get rid of any little static that's starting to pop up and give it a little bit of hold. So far, this is the best replacement that I have found for the Osis Tame Wild. It's not the best, it's not perfect because they're obviously different products and they're formulated differently, but it gives me as close of an effect as I've been able to find so far. So you can see now just from the back, this is what we're working with. All the hair is just going in one direction for this wave pattern. And for a half up look, it's going to look really pretty, very modern versus the Utah curls, so to speak, where it's a little bit more of a beachy wave. These modern, sleeker styles all tend to have a bit more of a vintage wave to the bottom half of the hair. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to finger comb all the hair back away from the face because I want soft, natural volume. Put a little bit more styling cream because I want a little bit more hold at the front. I'm very gently just kind of skimming my hands over the front to gently grab and coat these baby hairs. They have a lot of product in them already from the previous style. So I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to put a bunch of hairspray in them. If you over hairspray little baby hairs, particularly with hard hold hairspray, sometimes they just get really stiff and they stick straight up and they're even harder to work with. So I just try and work with some styling creams instead. Now from the side, I want to take a look at what this is going to look like, how much volume I want, and whether or not I want to leave any pieces out around her face. And this is also where the consultation comes in with the client. When I hand them a mirror and say, hey, if all the hair is pulled back, this is what you're going to look like from the front. Are you happy with that? Because they might be like, oh no, I can see my ears, or oh, I don't like my hairline, or whatever. You want to make sure that they like it before you go through all the work of pinning everything back, and then it looks beautiful and perfect, and you have it all in place from the back here, and then they look in the mirror and they're going to see themselves from the front all day. They are going to look at themselves in pictures from the front and from the side all day. So we want to make sure that they like how the profile looks with the volume, whether they want more volume, where they want the volume, if they want the volume more towards the front, if they like soft natural volume towards the back, and how they look from the front and how they like it. So it's really important part of the consultation to this look. This is what she would look like from the front if we were just pulling it all straight back like this. And she might be like, I don't like the way my hairline looks. The way that we had it before with the vintage wave, this side was more slicked back and there's a little bit more product and stuff here. So we want to just really be making sure that from the front, everything still looks as nice as possible. And if they want any of these like piecey bits, that when we pull them up, it doesn't make this like weird wave from the front. So for her, I'm actually going to leave some face framing out because she has really nice face framing pieces already cut into her style. I want to leave some of these pieces out because they're not too long and too dense, so they're not going to look really like those vintage curly cues. I'm not pulling anything out from here. I don't want the rabbi curls. This is all going to be pinned back. I'm keeping it right up at the top, closer to the hairline. And I want to see what pieces I can pull out from that and how that's going to look. But since we've already done all of the work with curling the hair, there's not a whole lot that I need to do. So if you take the time and you go through and you put all the curls in first before you do this consultation process, they can get a more accurate idea of what am I going to look like with pieces out around my face. And if I need to recurl the front piece, I can. And I probably will end up doing that, or at least doing something a little bit different with this up at the front. That's about as much as I want to pull back. And this is what I want to leave out. So what I like to do to remind myself, don't touch these pieces, is put just a little pin clip in there. And that reminds me, don't grab any of that because it's already sectioned. If I'm reaching from the front, if I'm talking and chatting or just kind of working a little bit quickly, I don't accidentally pull it and then get back to the front and be like, where did my pieces go? So I just kind of section it off a little bit. And something like this is not going to crunch down the curl like a alligator clip. Now I'm just going to start combing through all of the hair here and seeing how it all looks. And I'm going to take from about the top of the ear back. That's going to be how I pin everything. Now, because I already have it all curled, I don't want to be messing with that curl with alligator clips. So I'm just doing this all with my hands. So I'm going to take a section from right above over the ear, about 2 or so inches back. And I'm going to take it to right about over here. I'm going to give it a little twist, and then I'm going to take the toe of the bobby pin. I'm going to hook it in the outside edge of the twist, and I'm going to push it back up along that twist. And that's going to start to secure it into place. Do the same thing right above it. And then I'm going to give a third one. I'm going to go straight up in there, right through the center. And that's going to pin the first side back. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side here. Now, because this side has a little bit more baby hairs and the way that the hair was curled, I'm going to need a little bit more hold. So I'm gonna spray with a little bit of hairspray and finger comb it. So I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna give it a little twist. And I'm gonna slide it up right underneath this one here. I'm gonna take again that toe, hook it in the outside edge, twist, and slide it back along the twist. And I'm going to take another one, the third one here, underneath, inside the twist, and slide that along as well. I want to make sure that you can't see it. Now this one I can see a little bit, so I want to push it up a little and see if I can kind of pull this hair down to kind of cover it. Nope, I can still see the bobby pin. Whenever you can see a bobby pin, especially for a really simple style like this, you want to take it out and replace it so that you can't see it. I don't care that it's a dark pin on dark hair. I don't want to see any visible bobby pins. And if it's a little bit stuck because you got it in there tight, take the little metal part, hook it in the end, and use that while you hold the hair in place. And that'll start to loosen it up for you. You should be able to slide it out pretty well without messing up the hair too much. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and slide it in better up there. There we go. So we're going to comb back through. Okay, now all of our pins are hidden. All the hair is coming together in the same wave pattern. Hit it with a little bit of hairspray. Because we layered in the product as we were curling, we don't need to do so much hairspray at the very end. We have that longevity in there and that hold already built in with the layering of the products. And what I like to do is just go over the sides and swoop everything back. And hit that with some hairspray. Use the can to kind of swoop everything so my hands don't get super sticky. And then as I'm doing that, I'm checking the balance. I'm checking as I go around the head to refine everything. Do I still like the shape that I'm getting to the head? Have I started to go a little too high or a little too far out? Because the look is so clean and so simple, any imbalance in volume is going to be really obvious. So you want to make sure that you're really paying attention to everything from every angle. I'm really going to make sure that we don't see any little frizzies and little flyaways, that everything around the nape of the neck and behind the ear is still looking really nice. You can always use the back of the comb too as a flat surface to smooth the hair down. Use your tools. Use your tools. Oh, sorry. We'll edit that part out. Use your tools to stab your client in the head. Were they wiggling too much? Stab them. Use your tools however you want to. They're tools. They're there to work for you. There's really no wrong way or right way. If it gets the job done, it gets the job done. So now I'm taking a look at it. The other side, I liked it, but I want a little bit more softness here. There we go. Now we have the front, and it's already been curled, so I don't really need to do a whole lot with it, but I do want to refine everything. And actually, for a front piece, I probably don't want it curled towards the face for this type of look. I'd ask my client, do you want it curled towards the face? Do you want it curled away from the face? And very typically for these type of looks, if we want a more modern look, curled away from the face is the way that they're going to ask. So we have this section of hair that has been curled towards the face. That's not going to work with this style. So I want to take it and I want to curl it back away from the face and give it a more modern look. So what I want to do is I want to start to soften out the way that hair is already curled. Now there's a lot of product in here and it's already been curled once. So I want to make sure that I'm just kind of first using a little bit of heat to pull out the way that hair was curled. So you can see very quickly how I just got it nice and smooth and straight. Because if I had it curled forward and then I immediately start to just curl it back, that's not going to create as nice of a curl. So I kind of want to just smooth that out first. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to just do a vertical style curl again because I want it to have that S wave pattern when we're done. And I'm just going to soften it up with my fingers. And now you can see that it has that S wave pattern that's going to look cohesive with the rest of the hairstyle. And just hit it with a little bit of hairspray. And use the pick part of our comb to kind of soften and fan everything out. So it's still going to give it a lot of nice volume, but it's going to give it a nice, soft, more modern look because it's curled away from the face. And this side was already curled away from the face to begin with. Sometimes I just listen to myself and my muttering when I'm like editing stuff, and I'm like, I'm a fucking idiot. Sometimes I find myself hysterical, and most of the time I'm like, oh my God, who lets me do this job? All right, so here we go. They're very simple, but it's better than having it all pulled straight back. You can give it a little bit more zhuzh, a little bit more volume, really just kind of see what the client likes and tweak it from there. But this is the final look from the front, and this is the final look from the back. Okay, so you can see that she has a little bit of thinness around her hairline. And one of the things that you can do as a hairstylist to help people if they're maybe feeling a little self-conscious, moms have this very often, or if they have young children and they have breakage or new growth right around the face, if you fill it in just a little bit, it helps to smooth out the hairline and thicken it up a little bit. So it's a really nice little extra touch that you can do. I recommend having the Color Wow cover up. If you are also a makeup artist or if you want to get a Senna brow book, it is a whole palette of eyeshadow size pans in all hair colors for filling in eyebrows. This is what the Senna brow book looks like, and I've taken some of these colors out and put them in my makeup kit for the actual brows, but then I have saved some of these ones for hair colors. Because this takes up so much space, I use the Senna brow book instead. And this normally has, let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12 different hair shades. I've taken about half of those out, put them in my makeup kit to use for actual eyebrows, but then I keep the rest of these in my hair kit to be able to go in and touch up and fill in a little bit on hairline. So I'm actually going to use this one called Noir because it's a dark brown, and I'm going to see how that looks first. And then if I need to go in with a little bit more with an actual black over the top, since her hair is about a level 2, I'll see if I need to add a little bit more depth in there. But I do really like the brush that comes with the Color Wow. So this is what it looks like. It's got a really fine tip and it's got a fuller tip. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to tap it in to this Noir color. And I'm just going to kind of start to fill it in. And it's just going to kind of darken the area just a little bit from where her scalp is kind of peeking through. And it's just going to make the hairline look a little bit fuller and a little bit more dense. I'm not too worried about it since this hair is going to be coming over the top of it, but I wanted to just kind of take a second to kind of show you if you had somebody who it was really visible and they were really self-conscious about it, a little way that you can have something relatively small and compact that you can put in your kit that can really help to elevate the look overall. And you can see it just kind of brushes and sticks to the skin. And then as you comb through the hair, it just really starts to deepen the hairline and thicken it up. I've layered in some of the brown and you can see that, but I am gonna go back in with just a little bit of the black, just for a little bit more. And just little soft kind of strokes, take a step back, evaluate. Okay, I want a little more depth right here. And then we're just going to lock it in place with a little bit of the hairspray. Now let them know if they're like super sweaty or very oily people. This works really well, but it's not completely waterproof and completely foolproof. So just let them know to make sure that they're not sticking their fingers in their hair and they're not touching it, because if they do start to really sweat or they get really oily and they touch it, it's going to come off on their fingers and then it can transfer onto their clothing. And then you can just kind of see where it just looks a little bit more full right around the face there. So while this is a great look to do for a bridesmaid who wants just a really simple, clean, half up look, this is also a perfect hairstyle to do for a bridal shower, or if your bride is coming to you for her rehearsal. It's really in right now to have a white bow in the hair for the rehearsal because they're not going to be wearing their veil, or to just make it look a little bit more bridal for a bridal shower. So you can take a white bow and just kind of put it in right underneath this crisscross. And this style of bow plus these kind of vintagey waves really go well together. It looks really cute. And it's a great way to kind of dress up a simple half up for a bridal shower or a rehearsal. If you liked today's video, you will love the next video in the series where I'm going to show you how to do a different variation of a half updo with a party pony pop in the center. If you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe to my channel so you get notifications when all my new videos are available.